Obama got more coverage on American nightly newscasts than his two predecessors, George Bush and Bill Clinton, combined.
If you watched George Bush do a press conference, you understood why he didn't do very many of them. If you watch Barack Obama do a press conference, you understand why he's willing to do more of them.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Barack Obama is a very effective communicator. I think one of the things the White House has realized is that the best person to explain the ideas of the Obama White House is Barack Obama himself.
I want people to understand what we've done is created mechanisms.
And it makes sense to send your most popular spokesperson out to explain policy. Sending Tim Geithner and Larry Summers to explain the White House economic plan isn't a very good idea from a PR standpoint. Sending Obama out to do the same makes more sense.
That's the idea, is to try to maximize the amount of time that Barack Obama himself is explaining what the White House is doing to the American people.
What I have said,
not just to the American people, but to the world.
Talking directly to the Muslim world.
President Obama's first interview was not with a U.S. news channel. It was with the Saudi-owned, Dubai-based Al Arabiya.
Mr. President, thank you for this opportunity. We really appreciate it.
thank you so much.
The symbolism of the Arabiya interview by President Obama was a combination of the timing. It was right after the inauguration. It was the medium that he chose, a major pan-Arab satellite station in Arabic, and it was the message reaching out to the Islamic world.
My job is to communicate the fact that the United States has a stake in the well-being of the Muslim world.
All of these things together were really profoundly important, but in symbolic terms, because there had not yet been a change in policy. But I think rhetoric is the first step towards policy.
Sayın Barack Hussein Obama.
Obama's use of the global media as a megaphone to transmit to the Arab and Muslim world continued with his visit to Turkey and this declaration.
So let me say this as clearly as I can. The United States is not and will never be at war with Islam.
Before that, there was his overture to Iran, delivered via new media this time, on the occasion of the Iranian New Year.
This holiday is both an ancient ritual and a moment of renewal.
It was the first time that a U.S. president addressed Iranian leaders and called the Iranian government the Islamic Republic. President Obama congratulated Iranians in their own language.
We seek the promise of a new beginning. Thank you. And Eid-e-Shema Mubarak.
It meant a great deal to them, and that was why they all tried to put it on Facebook, sending in emails, and trying to attract more attention to what President Obama had to say to Iranian people.
Direct diplomacy with Iran.
Obama's reaching out to the Bush administration's adversaries, be they in Iran or in Venezuela, has landed him in trouble with some American media outlets.
I think Barack Obama has come off as a kid on the schoolyard that can be pushed around because he's too sweet.
And the pro-Republican Fox News channel has gone after him over his tax policies.
Americans sick of government bailouts and wasteful spending.
Fox was central to the organization of last month's Tea Parties, tax revolts that took place in many American cities.
Fox is doing precisely what you would expect Fox to do with a Democratic administration. I don't think there's been any surprise in terms of the programming, which has been vehemently anti-Obama.
Fox News took the somewhat remarkable step of not just covering these as events, but actually promoting them. They sent their anchors out across the country. All of them throughout the day were doing live shots from various locations, and it was clear they weren't covering the protests, they were part of the protest.
America is sick and tired of being sick and tired of lies and corruption and flushing our country down the toilet.
There is going to be an audience and people who simply do not like this president for a variety of reasons, and Fox is there to tap into those feelings and to stoke them.
The most radical left-wing administration in a generation.
President Obama is well aware of the Fox agenda, as well as CNBC's, the business channel that took issue with his plan to bail out not just the banks, but also some homeowners suffering under the credit crunch.
How many of you people want to pay for your neighbor's mortgage? Raise their hand. How about we all? President Obama, are you listening?
The White House confronted CNBC on that, banking on voters backing the president over corporate media.
I think we left a few months ago the adage that if it was good for a derivatives trader, that it was good for Main Street.
CNBC is essentially the mouthpiece of the financial elites of the country, who are incredibly discredited. I mean, they have essentially no reputational capital left in the public sphere. They're loathed by most Americans. They're blamed rightly for the mess that we're in. So I don't think CNBC poses much of a threat to his agenda.
Another big issue playing out in the U.S. media is torture. President Obama's decision to end the use of torture and to release to the media memos detailing what techniques were used under the Bush administration has sparked an ugly media firefight. Once again, Fox is leading the opposition.
There has been a lot of anger from the political right about the fact that these memos were released.
Today, the Obama administration gave the enemy, the jihadist, the Islamic terrorist extremists, a big psychological victory.
There have been conservatives who have tried to claim that, now Al-Qaeda will know what to prepare for.
They're going to share this kind of information with their recruits, and they're going to say, look how weak the Americans are. If you get captured, look at how they're going to treat you.
But of course, when Obama came in, one of the first things that he did was said that we're not going to use these techniques anymore, so it doesn't really matter if we know what happened.
The U.S. presidential election was the biggest global news story of 2008 by far. And if the first 100 days are any kind of measure, the media, both inside and outside America, both pro-Obama and anti-Obama, just can't get enough of the man who won it.